This is At Face Value.
Oh. What are we doing live?
Is this live right now?
Yes, live.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Here we go again, episode 30 of At Face Value. I'm Brian.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Will.
We're so excited to have you. We're actually going to kind of be live streaming, well, I guess live on Monday morning, streaming the Bills and Chiefs final 6 minutes and 23 seconds. So it's going to be kind of an interesting finish going on here. So should be a good night, though. But a lot of stuff that's been going on. One of the things that we were actually just talking about right before we started here was that the national championship felt like it was over like 3 weeks ago, and it was just on Monday. So
yeah, I saw a lot of stuff about that too, man. Like, they've got to do a better job of marketing it. Mm-hmm. Like, there was no build up, no nothing, and I think a lot of it has to do that it's played on a Monday, number one.
Oh, for sure.
Number two, you're competing with the NFL on the weekends, right? So they got to figure out, again, the way it's set up right now, they're not going to cancel, conference championship weekend. But, if you do that, you can move it back a week. And then the Army-Navy game, sure, it's, prestigious and they have their own weekend. But, dude, get out of here. Just play it a different weekend. They got to figure something else out because it's just such a long wait. Oh, that's such a bad throw. It's such a long wait to play this game. Maybe they'll kick a field goal. To play the game, and then the build-up, it's just the steam is just completely gone. Yeah. I felt like I watched the game. It ended up being a good game, which I was very surprised about. But
so do you just mean the 9-day lull between games that we were talking about? Or?
Yeah, 9-day lull, but it just keeps getting dragged on, and then I mean, dude, it's on a Monday. You're competing with the NFL. I feel like they didn't hype it up. I don't know.
Well, and I guess that's kind of the biggest thing.
Was it the teams? Those are two.
I mean, you wouldn't think it'd be the teams because
No.
I mean, Ohio State, Notre Dame. That's prime national media right there. So, oh, what a catch! But
Let's go.
But I mean, so I don't think it's the teams at all. And maybe kind of the thought was well, it'll kind of just market itself, kind of thing. Where it's let's two big teams, a national championship. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how you really fix that. But I mean, it's always been on Monday night, and it's always seemed to have good ratings. It's just for whatever reason, it's almost kind of like we said, either wasn't marketed right or people just weren't super interested. I almost feel like it's kind of like what we talked about. We thought Ohio State's just going to roll Notre Dame, and so people just didn't really care.
You're getting too late in the NFL playoffs too.
Yeah.
It's the games that are really starting to matter. If you're on wild card weekend, obviously it's still the playoffs, but people aren't as dialed in the playoffs till this past weekend, and obviously this weekend being conference championship weekend. So the fact that was getting a little deeper into it, I think, played a little bit into the reason maybe it seemed like people weren't as dialed in as they have been.
And then, I mean, how hard would it be to play it on a Friday night? You know what I mean? Because you're not going to take away wild card weekend with the Saturday and Sunday. There's no point of even competing with that. The way the NFL is running.
No, for sure.
There's just no way to compete. So, do it on a Friday night. Monday night's just brutal. For people going to the game, number one, and then two, get off of work. The game starts at 6:30. You're oh, I can't stay up that late because I gotta go to work tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's tough. On a Friday night, you're okay, I can have a few drinks and hang out with my friends and stuff and watch the game. But on a Monday night, you're dude, I'm not going anywhere, dude.
Well, that's what's crazy too. So you're saying for us, it's 6:30. Well, if you live in California, it's starting at 4:30. So you're still at work and the game's starting. So it's kind of a weird deal, especially being on a Monday. I mean, I don't really know how the ratings have compared to years past, and I do know it's one of the lowest ones in a while. And I know I've seen some media people that have said the Monday night really hasn't seemed like a negative impact. And maybe it is just the fact that, it happened right after the divisional round of the NFL playoffs, and so it's kind of now you're in the deepest part of the NFL side, and so people almost just because we talked about at the end of the day, the NFL's still going to reign supreme over everything else.
Yeah.
So even though there is more hype around having the 12-team playoff, it's still but you still got kind of the biggest NFL playoff, it seems, in a while. So I don't know.
and it just sucks too because like this is one of the most like exciting and unpredictable college football seasons ever. I feel like it was an unbelievable season, and it to just kind of culminate with like that ending where it was just like the build up all season was so good, and then just to lay an egg. Like it kind of sucks, but again, I don't know what to do about that. Like I played on a Friday, like that'd be I think, and they say that it doesn't have anything to do with the ratings. The ratings haven't taken a hit, but there's no data that proves the other way, right? Like. There's no data that says, oh, it does the same as it does on a Monday than it does on a Friday, because it's never happened.
Right.
So who knows what the ratings would be on a Friday night, like leading up into like the wild card round or the divisional playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you might get more attention out of it instead of it, being on the backside, being on the front side. But I don't know. There's people that make a lot more money that make those decisions than we do. So.
Because and I know a lot of teams are also complaining that like playing this deep into the playoffs, like the transfer portal, all that stuff. Like, well, if you played a weekend earlier, like so start the playoffs a little bit earlier. You play the national championship earlier. Classes haven't started yet. Like all that stuff, you still have a little bit more of a chance to kind of get some of these kids out of the portal. Whatever you need to do, I don't know. Obviously, next year it's going to be the exact same. Like I think they're under contract for at least another year. With the whole setup right now, or they announced they're going to do it for one more year, but I don't know.
So I guess the fix would be like you put the Army-Navy game the same weekend as conference championships.
Yeah,
and then you start the next week with
playoffs.
With the playoffs, because that was kind of the crazy part. It's like if you were one of the 4 teams that got the bye, like you got 3 weeks off before you're even playing, and so. It doesn't matter if you're in pros, college, whatever. Like, you get a full 3 weeks off of playing. Like, obviously, you're going to be rusty, and it doesn't matter what kind of talent level you're at. It's just a huge lull. And then also, like you said, it just drags the season further and further. It's already 14-week season, 15 if you include the conference championships.
Well, so there's too much red tape with all that. And the one that I heard that they suggested maybe bumping Army-Navy to start the season, because to bump it to conference championship weekend, you can't. Army just played in the American Conference Championship, and then they said, "Oh, okay, well, you can have Army-Navy at noon on the following weekend, and give them that noon time slot, and then don't start the first college football playoff game until later that afternoon." Mm-hmm. But for half a season, we lived in the world. If there's a world where Army-Navy ever make a college football playoff, then you can't do that either, because they would be in the playoff game. So the one that to keep Army-Navy their own weekend or their own where the whole country can watch them, someone suggested moving to the beginning of the year, and to avoid all other controversies, that might be the one that has to work to bump all this stuff up. But I don't know if they will do that because tradition and what it's been. But if they ever want them to be in those other big games, that's kind of their only choice if we're really going to bump this thing up some.
Well, because it kind of goes back to like the scenario that we talked about. I think it was after week 8 or 9 where they were both undefeated, and so it was the whole possibility of, they play each other in the conference championship, and then they turn around, they have to play each other again the next week, and so it's like, well, what if one team wins the conference championship and then the other team wins the next week? It's like, then what do you do? Like,
or I have a really good idea: just make them play during rivalry weekend.
Yeah,
like everybody else.
Yeah,
like. I don't know if I've ever watched like a full quarter of the Army-Navy game. Like sat down and watched it. Like,
right. Yeah.
Like honestly, like I understand tradition and everything, but like just have them play on rivalry weekend like everybody else.
Yeah,
like,
I do get the symbolism around it, but I do agree too. It's kind of like,
well, it's also a conference game now, so like to me it should be played before.
But technically, it's not.
It's not, but like they're both in the conference, so just make it a conference game.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you play it the first week of the year or whatever you want, if you want to play week 0 Army-Navy to give them where the whole country can watch, that's fine. But then at least you can make it a conference game. It can go towards their records like everybody else has to do. But
yeah, I think it's either week 0 when there's not like a bunch of other big time games, or you do your rivalry week. I think that's your easiest fix where you can also get the season going without it dragging out too much. But
well, I know it feels like it was a month ago, but what were y'all's thoughts on the game, just in general? Like,
I mean, I think it kind
Did
of
you watch it? Like
yeah,
the whole
I
thing?
watched it. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of what I expected, or what we talked about it
For a half.
to be for a half. Is just
Yeah.
like Ohio State. Well, actually, I mean, that first drive. I mean, Notre Dame,
Dude.
taking 9 minutes driving down the field.
18 plays.
Yeah, 18
Yeah.
plays. Riley Leonard ran it 13 times, throwing up coming off the field. like
Crazy.
But
Not
that-
sustainable.
Yeah,
We
for
said
sure.
that right away that wasn't sustainable. But that was a perfect drive for Notre Dame football. Like that's how they wanted to play the game.
Yeah.
But that was not going. You could not replicate that drive after drive.
Riley Leonard is not Scatabo.
But yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what they talked about. Is like Jeremiah Love was going to have to be the guy that stepped up, and he really didn't do much of anything.
3 yards.
Yeah, 3 yards.
I took his under.
Yeah, but I mean, how many times did he even run the ball? It seemed like he didn't run the
4.
ball. Yeah,
I think he ran the ball 4 times.
Yeah, so I mean, he was pretty much a non-factor. So they got that first drive, and then from then on, they really didn't do anything. And then of course they come out in the second half. You look like Ohio State's just going to blow them out of the water. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's 31-23, and you're
Dude,
like,
it ended up being a lot closer at the end. Like it was. I'm sure there were some Ohio State fans sweating a little bit. But I mean, yeah, the game. I mean, Ohio State.
And that's what's kind of crazy too is that people were dogging Marcus Freeman for attempting that field goal, but honestly, like if he makes it, like that makes the game even more interesting.
Yeah.
Because then you make that, and then you score, back-to-back times from there. I mean, that's a totally
Everybody gets on there and starts talking about it after what happens.
Yeah.
Like no one ever factors in the everything beforehand because they're like, oh well, the old make a 2-score game, a 2-score game. Like, but
Yeah.
there's so many other factors and the fact that he misses it.
I mean, he dinks it.
He dinks it, yeah. So everybody's using hindsight here, and it makes it. You can say whatever you want to at that point because you already knew the outcome, and you're not being paid millions of dollars to make that decision. So it's really easy to sit behind a computer and type in on your Twitter profile about it. But
I mean, the one thing I will say is Brian Kelly would not have kicked that field goal. We've seen that all year at LSU, or I did. He's not kicking that field goal. He hates points in the red zone. So, but no, yeah, I mean, well deserved for Ohio State. I mean, I don't know, man. Ohio State fans, just on the internet, man. God, like, I don't know. They're comparing this team to like the all-time great teams. Like they're literally saying like this team would destroy 2019 LSU, would beat 01 Miami, would beat 95 Nebraska, like all this stuff. I'm like, bro, come on. You lost to freaking a bad Michigan team. Like you have 2 losses on your schedule, man. Like,
that is my quarrel with it because the argument is being saying it's the best team. But because you've lost, that's where, to me, you lose that argument. What I think is a fair argument, or one that you could put out there, is that this is one of the most talented teams. Mm-hmm. The talent on the team could stack up with some of those teams you're mentioning. I'm not saying they win.
I don't think it would stack up.
Man, the talent is there, but you cannot say
the talent is not there at the quarterback position, in my opinion. And that's the most important position on the entire field.
Man, you're right. You talk about the names on those teams, but like Will Howard played very well.
Yeah.
Aside from a couple games, and I'm not even blaming like the Michigan game. He ran the plays that were called. Like
yeah,
it was a terrible game plan.
But he's not gonna go down the field and win you a drive in a close game, in my opinion. I don't think he will.
He's not a guy that's gonna just dice you up and make plays when he has to. I think he's a product of what's around him for sure.
I agreed. I don't know. Obviously they have 3 really talented receivers.
Yeah.
Right? But look at all like what would you compare them to LSU's receivers in 19? Like who would you take? Which pair or which trio?
No, I'm taking LSU's, but that's also my point. It's like obviously Joe Burrow's a great quarterback. But does Joe Burrow throw for 60 touchdowns if he's not throwing to Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase?
I think he comes pretty close.
He probably throws for 45. I don't know if he throws for 6.
He didn't. He did in the year before, and he had those same receivers.
Exactly, but I don't know. Yes, I don't know.
He had the exact same receiving core the year before.
All I'm saying is I will accept the argument that you could throw the talent and say it's one of the most talented teams. but it's not the best because you can't have 2 losses. I don't care if you win the national title. You can't have 2 losses.
I mean,
and claim
2020 Bama had a more talented and better team.
Okay, I'll take that argument.
But like people are like, I know a lot of teams that are more talented than that team. Like I would put a lot more teams up there that are more talented, in my opinion, that are national champions. I mean, shoot, the Michigan team from last year is probably more talented than this team. Like defensively,
that's the thing. Everybody only remembers offense.
Defensively, that Michigan team, I think all 11, I bet you are in the league right now, or are gonna be.
Where do you think Ohio State's defense finished ranked nationally this year?
I mean, they're pretty high. I think they gave up like 13 points a game.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
They finished number 1. They finished number 1 in points. They finished number 3 in rush defense and number 1 in passing, or vice versa. But they finished overall the number 1 defense in the country.
Yeah, and they gave up like 40 points against Oregon.
Yeah, and they
the
still
regular season
averaged 13
because they played Michigan, who threw the ball 3 times for 60 yards.
But I'm still saying, like, it's a good team.
It is a good
team.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad team. I just don't think I think there are way more talented teams that have won national championships. That's just my. They are talented for sure. They won a national championship.
So we break out college football 25 and build these squads and let them just all play against each other.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll sell the argument once and for all for everybody.
There you go.
I don't know. And if you're that talented, you don't lose to that Michigan team. That's just it.
At home.
Talent should bring you further than that, in my opinion. Because that is a bad Michigan team. A very bad Michigan team.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But I guess to counter that, is that more of the talent, or is that also more of coaching?
No. The Michigan game was coaching.
You think?
Dude, they literally won because they had lost 3 in a row.
You can't say that Ryan Day didn't crap down his pants in that game.
They wanted to go in that game and beat Michigan playing Michigan football.
Yeah.
They tried to run it all the time. Anytime they put Howard in a position to throw, it was a terrible situation, and then he made a couple bonehead plays to top it off. But the game plan was awful.
Yeah, but think about
if they have any of the game plans of any of those 4 college football playoff games, they win 50-7.
Yeah, but think about the other games that they played where they just hand the ball to Travion Henderson or freaking Judkins. They were running over everybody. They just couldn't do it against Michigan.
Yeah, well, that's because the best part of Michigan was their defense. Michigan finished with 7 wins. It's not like their offense couldn't put up 100 yards a game.
For sure.
So their defense, Texas, they had to be decent.
Texas put up, 35 on them?
Yeah.
At home?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's probably some of the most points they gave up.
I mean, probably.
But their defense was definitely the best part of their game. I don't know how. I still don't know how Ohio State lost. It doesn't matter because they won the national title. But
so is Ryan Day still going to have a job next year?
Ross Bjork said he is working to make Ryan Day one of the highest paid football coaches in college football.
Talk about a flip of fate, dude.
What happens if they lose to Michigan next year? Again,
if they win the national title,
no,
he gets another contract.
No, I'm just saying, say they miss out on the playoffs and lose to Michigan next year. What are they going to do to Ryan Day?
He's one of 3 football coaches with a title. He's not going anywhere.
I mean, I wouldn't think so, but you know how mad the fan base will be.
Actually, I saw that on Dan Patrick's show. They did a poll and they said, "Would you rather lose to Michigan and win the national championship, or beat Michigan and lose the national championship, or not make the national championship?" And a high majority said that they would rather win the national championship. Surprisingly,
I would have thought the other. Yeah,
wow.
I actually did too, because I voted just to see what people would do, because they did through X. And I just wanted to see what people would say.
Yeah, but how many of those people voting were actually Ohio State fans?
That is true.
You know what I mean? You voted.
Yeah.
Well,
Michigan fans also piss me off because now they're over here claiming victory on the backside.
Dude, Michigan fans are dumb too.
I bet Michigan and Aggie fans would have a great time together.
Right. Yeah, just stack them up together.
Michigan fans are they think they're back now.
Yeah. Dude, what's crazy though is Ohio State goes and wins the national championship, and then we're talking about the transfer portal and all that, but then Penn State steals Jim Knowles, the defensive coordinator. That's crazy.
Kind of came out of nowhere to me.
Well, because their defensive coordinator went to Auburn? Oh, shoot.
Oh, man.
Throw it up, Josh. He should have caught that.
Oh my god, dude!
Kincaid should have caught that.
Yes, dude, he was there.
Oh man.
Oh no.
That's game.
Yeah.
No, they got 3 touchdowns.
Oh.
Yeah.
Late flag.
3.1 million. That's why he left.
Wait, where did Penn State's defensive coordinator end up? He went somewhere. He took a job somewhere. That's why the opening was available.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah.
I thought he went to Auburn or maybe Florida State.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim Knowles isn't. Yeah, they gave him 3.1 mil, which is significantly higher than the next defensive coordinator.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because the other two is y'all's got LSU.
Blake Baker's I think 2.5.
2.5, and the other one is 2.5, and I can't remember where that one is, but they bumped him to 3.1.
Dang.
Supposedly Ohio State was also making him a real competitive offer to make him to match him up to 2.5. But yeah, wasn't enough. Penn State 3.1 million. So
that's crazy.
Very interesting because Penn State have quite a few guys returning from this team that made the playoff this year. So they're in pretty good position going into next year. Or on the flip, Ohio State does not. Ohio State's losing 14 of 22 starters. Yeah, so that's pretty tough.
That's wild, man. I don't know. I can't find it.
Let's see.
This is great podcasting.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting first game, Ohio State and Texas, because they're both losing quite a bit. Like, Texas is losing quite a bit on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
Offense, they should be okay. I mean, they are losing both of their tackles.
They're losing both tackles. They're losing their top 2 receivers, losing their starting quarterback.
Does this start like a chain reaction, like this late in the year, for a coordinator at that high of a school to get poached? Like, are we going to see, like, is Ohio State just going to promote from within, or do they go out now and poach a big name guy, and it just starts like kind of a chain reaction? I mean, obviously not. I'm not talking like 5 or 6 jobs, but like, do we see 2 or 3 guys flip at these bigger name schools before somebody just hires within?
I mean, I think you could see it just because, especially like with the transfer portal, and so like, you know, obviously Jim Knowles saw something like, hey, like we have the potential to fall off pretty big. Well, he saw dollar signs, but also like he probably saw like Penn State's roster versus what Ohio State's potential roster is going to look like, and he said, you know, Penn State's got a lot of potential. They got an experienced roster. Like, I'll go over there, and you know, we can really push and possibly end up beating Ohio State next year and winning the national championship, or at least making a push for it. So I'm sure it could be something like that. So, I mean, yeah, definitely in the right situation. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah. So Tom Allen was Penn State's defensive coordinator this year. He went to Clemson.
Clemson.
Yeah, I should have known that because LSU opens with Clemson.
I do remember hearing about this now that you say that.
So he left for Clemson, and then they hired Ohio State's defensive coordinator.
Nice. So that's already 2 chain reactions right there.
For sure.
Like, so Ohio State's not just going to go hire some nobody. Like, they're going to go after a big name if they don't have somebody they think on their staff that could fill the role.
Yeah.
But
and then whoever that is, they're going to have to fill the role.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where does this stop? Because this is so late in the cycle. Like, that would be very interesting to me to see how this unfolds, but I just don't see like if Ohio State wants somebody, they're gonna get them. So I'd be shocked if they hire within. I guess is what I'm saying. I think they'll go out and find somebody.
Yeah, I just wonder who's out there that would really be available that they could possibly pick up.
Dude, it went right through his hands. That's brutal, dude. What a loser.
Tight ends in the AFC are killing it right now.
God.
Mark Andrews last week, and then Kincaid. Oh, man.
Did they go to A&M?
They didn't. I can confirm they did not go to A&M.
No.
We only have running backs that drop the ball. We don't have tight ends that drop the ball.
Yeah.
So if that had been James Cook, I would have claimed him, even though he did not, in fact, go to A&M. But
there you go.
So is this game over? This game's
over. I mean, they have one more timeout.
So they'll get about 30 seconds, maybe.
Do they punt it or they kick the field goal?
They kick the. Oh, you talking about Kansas City?
Yeah.
Are they in field goal range?
No, I don't think they're in field goal range.
They're on like the 35. You're in field goal range, but if you miss it,
I think you punt it.
If you miss it,
You punt it, and then Buffalo's going to kick a game time field goal to make me cash.
And go to overtime.
I mean, y'all forget they gave Patrick Mahomes 16 seconds a few years ago, and they kicked the field goal.
Yeah, true.
Granted, they had a timeout.
I was gonna say they had a timeout.
And it was Kansas City. So did y'all watch the game earlier this afternoon? The Eagles Commanders.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call that a game.
Yeah, dude. I was a little disappointed with how bad the Commanders just wanted to put the ball on the floor. You know, like they just couldn't hold on to the freaking football. It was a game until they started fumbling. Like after they fumbled that kickoff, I was like,
and
oh,
dude, and it wasn't even like super forced. Like it was just like a punch thrown, and dude, like the Eckler one was the worst one. Like
where he got up.
Yes, where he tries to get up.
Oh my goodness!
GG's.
What a now it's over. Yeah, where he tries to
what?
Oh, he tries to get up and then they punch
too.
it right back out, dude. Like that was the worst for sure.
Yeah, dude, you can't do that.
So tired of this guy.
So Eagles and
Chiefs back again.
That's like the worst possible.
Dude, I hate the Eagles so much.
Yeah, who do you want now?
I want nobody to win. I want nothing to happen.
I might not even watch, honestly. Like,
I mean, I'm not watching.
Yeah. I do appreciate that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, Lucas, because of the podcast and starting to watch the NFL again.
I started watching it for the podcast, but I also had some bets on these things too, so that helped.
True.
But I mean, I'm not watching the Super Bowl. I'll probably throw a few bets on Saquon anytime touchdown.
Oh, dude,
It's a lock.
I mean, maybe.
that's what's
I
crazy.
don't even want to say it out loud. Am I going for the Eagles?
Yes.
I think
yes,
I am.
You are. Yes,
I think I am. Like I'm tired. I don't know. I wanted Buffalo to win so bad. Like I don't even know what to say right
Dude,
now.
how brutal is it to be a Buffalo Bills fan?
Oh, dude, their entire existence
Like,
has
it's
been
so
failure.
rough, dude.
But it's like you're finally relevant again. I can relate to what it's like to be a Bills fan right now because I was a Rockets fan.
And you're an Aggie.
Difference. Aggies never been good, Lucas. The Rockets got stuck having the best team in the NBA, sans the Golden State Warriors, in the middle of the Warriors dynasty. That's the Bills right now. The Bills are one of the best teams in the NFL, but they can never get past the Chiefs dynasty. So I know exactly what.
But
this
the
feels
Rockets
like.
in the '90s, they had the Bulls.
Yeah,
Right? Didn't they have? I mean, they won one.
They won two. The 2 years Jordan was
Exactly
experimenting with baseball.
If Jordan was never with the Bulls ever, how many titles does Houston have?
Houston has two in the 2010s. If the Warriors don't exist,
I mean,
they
true.
for sure they should have had one anyway. We were a Chris Paul hamstring away from going one there. But I'm just saying I know what this feels like because you have a great team that deserves to have gotten to things. It stinks you couldn't get over the hump, but you are literally playing in one of the best. You're playing the NFL, Taylor Swift, and one of the best dynasties and quarterbacks we've ever seen. I mean, as much as we hate the rest of it, that's just facts. Like this team again is not overly talented. You don't see just names up and down this roster like, man, this team's just gonna run through everybody. But they just find ways to win. Even when he doesn't have a great season. I mean, Mahomes statistically this year was like, man, kind of a down year. Didn't matter. They're going to another one.
But like we talked about before, like this is probably the worst. Like how many wins do they have? 15 wins in the regular season.
Yeah, they went 15-2.
This is that was the worst 15 win team I've ever seen.
And they might win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know, man.
They will win it. They're gonna win the Super Bowl.
I mean, they probably are because
the AFC is.
We kind of cut off the Eagles-Washington game a while ago. I mean, I know we all said before this weekend that whoever won this game was the Buffalo-Kansas City game was going to win the Super Bowl. If the Eagles' offense that has showed up the last 2 weeks is the Eagles' offense Super Bowl, that's going to be a little tough.
Yeah. They look really good today.
I mean, it's really going to come down to
now
the
Washington
run
also has a
defense,
terrible defense.
Yes, dude. Like Saquon absolutely ran. Like he did whatever he wanted to do today. Like
$118 on 15 carries. Like, what does he get if he runs 30 times?
he had 60 yards on the first carry.
First carry, yeah.
I think what was it? He had 2 touches or 2 carries for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half. Quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
2 carries for 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was at 3 carries, 3 carries for 70-something yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, he cashed early for me, which is nice.
I mean, honestly,
no sweat.
Based on honestly, the Eagles should. I mean, if you look at the rosters, I mean, the Eagles should win the game. I mean, if you just look at the talent that's on that offense right now, I mean, you got
A.J. Brown looked crazy good.
I was going to say, you got Saquon Barkley, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith, you got
Goddard played great today.
You have the best offensive line in the NFL.
Yeah,
I mean, the only thing that's going to slow them down is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, I've never been impressed by him. And they didn't give him much of a pass rush today, so he had a lot more opportunity to throw the ball. Whereas if you look last week when the Rams put pressure on him all night, and he had trouble the whole time.
Yeah.
So if you can get pressure on him, which the Chiefs will, that's what's going to be the difference. Because I mean, I don't think Jalen Hurts is better than Dak, and that's saying a lot. So if you give him time to make plays, he's going to make plays. But if you get in his head, he's going to cave.
So you would rather have Dak than Jalen Hurts?
No, I'm saying they're equal.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So literally they're interchangeable.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I was just curious.
I'd rather have neither one of them.
Yeah, but do you think Kansas City's defense is going to make him throw the football that much? They had 7 rushing touchdowns today. Granted, 2 of those were because fumbles, and they got put in good position.
The Chiefs' rush defense is really good. So I think that they have an opportunity to make him throw enough to impact the game. I don't think there's going to be enough. I don't think they're just going to be able to give this Saquon the ball the majority of the game to where he's just going to be able to control it. I think that the Chiefs are really going to be able to kind of control, kind of make them be more balanced than rely more on the run game. But
God, dude, I thought this was
this is honestly worst case scenario.
This sucks. This sucks so bad. I thought this was Buffalo's year for me. If Buffalo was going to win one, it had to be this year. I really don't know where Buffalo goes from here. What do you do?
To the AFC Championship again next year.
You know what's crazy is that they've been saying that the last 2 or 3 years too.
I agree.
Where do the Bills go from here? And it's just the same.
They're going to go to the
They come back and they lose to the Chiefs. It's what are they going to add? What are they going to find?
They won't lose to the Chiefs next year. Next year the Bengals.
I mean, do they go try to find a receiver? Because they don't really have a number one guy. I mean, Amari Cooper's 2 years old? He's not a number one guy anymore.
Yeah, I mean, their number one guy today was Hollins, who I had barely even heard of. So
yeah,
but but even in this game, the Chiefs' 2 top receivers in this game were Xavier Worley and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah,
who the hell would have thought that?
Who Smith-Schuster didn't even have a receiving yard last week.
And Travis Kelce, who's gone off the first 2 games, had 2 catches for 19 yards.
Yeah,
I mean, just guys that don't even contribute all of a sudden pop off of these big games. I don't know. I don't know where the Bills go. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they have to do. I don't know if you can do anything. Seriously, like I said, they are a great football team who should have at least 1 Super Bowl by now. But again, they have ran into just a dynasty. There's nothing else to say
they've
besides
run into one of the best teams ever.
I mean, if
that's all it is.
They'll be they'll be the first 3-peat.
First 3-peat since
the Patriots.
The Packers won the first 4 Super Bowls.
And
the Patriots never 3-peated?
No, they won 3 out of 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Cowboys had 3 out of 4, and the Patriots have 3 out of 4, and that's the closest. So.
And this would be 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 or 4 out of 6, something like that. Yeah.
Well, I want to say it's 4 out of 5. Well, and the only one they lost was the year that Brady won.
The Eagles won one.
Yeah, the Eagles beat the Patriots that year. That was 2018. No, 17.
Well, 1 year, I think it was Joe Burrow's second year in the league. They went to the
they went to
that's the only time that's the only time the Chiefs have not been to the Super Bowl in the last 6 years.
Yeah,
because they went and lost to the.
So that was 21.
They went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Patriots. No, they couldn't have done that. They lost to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game. So they went and won one, and then they lost in the AFC Championship game to the Bengals. and then the Bengals lost to the Bucks.
I think so.
No, Bengals lost to the Rams. The Chiefs lost. The Chiefs lost to the Bucks. That's where I'm getting mixed up.
The Rams did win one, yeah.
So that's the only one.
Yeah. So in 2020, they beat the 49ers. 21 lost to the Bucks. That was Brady.
Okay, that was the one.
22 lost to the Bengals in the AFC Championship.
Mm-hmm. And they've won 23.
23 beat the Eagles, and 24 beat the 49ers. And now they play the Eagles again.
Yeah, I mean, it's an insane run. It's an insane run. And you can hate it all you want, but you kind of have to respect it.
That's just for Google Drive.
Oh, sweet.
We're still good.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
As much as it stinks. Yeah. But does it only sting because we're not fans of them? Because, like, I didn't complain once when the Astros went to 7 straight,
for sure.
AL championship games. So if you're a Chiefs fan, like, you love this. But I guess when you're when you're just a fan of anything else, it stinks because, I mean, if the Astros go back, I'm not gonna be like, oh man, that makes 8 and 9. That stinks. Like, no, I want them to go back. So.
No, for sure.
Yeah, you do, but you also take it for granted too when you're in that situation as a fan too. Like, I think just talking about Alabama. Nick Saban went on a podcast earlier this week and said, like, what was his biggest regret? And he said, leaving LSU.
Yes, he did.
And, like, thinking about it, like, obviously, like, what if I loved Nick Saban to stay at LSU and LSU become Bama? But, like, as an LSU fan, like, we would have had the same reputation as Alabama fans as just these people who are just absolutely, like, you can't even talk to them. They're just absolutely...
Yeah.
obnoxious and annoying, and you're just like, I would rather not have that. Like, we have championships and, like, the losing seasons, and, like, it just makes the winning better. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I would love to have championship after championship after championship, which is awesome, but, like, when you don't lose, like everybody talks about Bryant-Denny Stadium, like, it's pretty quiet because everybody's like, oh, we're just gonna win. Like, there's no, like, passion in there because they're just so used to winning, which I don't know. I would love to have a dynasty for sure.
I was gonna say, like, I would love to say that our fans are bored of winning, like that.
That would be awesome, but like, losing also like makes winning much better.
For sure.
Like if you just win every
year. I know?
Well, I mean, but dude, honestly,
do you know you said we don't have a winning side yet?
But honestly, if A&M ever does break through, like how glorious is that going to be?
Y'all are going to want to be around me.
I'm not going to be around. I might move out of the country.
Not want to be around me.
No, I might move out of the state for a few.
But it's kind of like with the Astros though. Like we went through those terrible years, and so then winning that World Series was the greatest feeling ever.
Dude,
I think I wore Astro stuff for a week.
Dude, I didn't have a voice. I was mentally drained. Like I literally was staying up, watching every pitch, like. At the edge of my seat, I remember that I was tired every day, like, and I didn't even play in the damn games. Like the people who were playing
that entire playoff series. I mean, because
with the Yankees,
the Yankees are 7 games, and then the Dodgers are 7 games. Yeah, dude, it was brutal.
It was awesome.
But like again, awesome. like the bad years made that like
so much sweeter.
Yeah,
so much sweeter.
Like you could be a Yankee fan, like in the 2000s, like you're just like. Obnoxious and like it's just annoying. You know what I mean?
They're still annoying. I'll take my 27 championships.
Yeah.
What was you even alive for the last one?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, no.
I guess 09. I guess so, but
yeah, but
I mean, imagine when the Cowboys win a Super Bowl some year.
It's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be awful.
Yeah, we're gonna, like listening to that.
I'm sure our great grandkids will enjoy that, Brian.
But yeah. But no, seriously though, like in the 90s, like Cowboy fans, like with the dynasty, they were like, we might not ever lose again. Like this is awesome, and that's where they got the reputation of like being obnoxious. You know what I mean? They were so used to winning, you know. And now, like as a Cowboys fan, like if the Cowboys win a Super Bowl, how pumped are you going to be?
Oh, dude, like I will cry.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But like, you think the Chiefs are gonna cry if they win a Super Bowl?
No, it's just another one.
In a few weeks, exactly.
They'll be shell shocked if they don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that's why I don't know if it just like you keep winning. That's the same thing in soccer, like with Manchester City. Like They don't even care to win. Like, they're not even celebrating winning a Premier League. Like, the fans are just like, yeah, it's just the fourth one in a row.
What it is, yeah.
Fourth one in a row, whatever. You know, like, that's not fun. I don't know.
I just want to win.
You got to lose and have some bad times so the good times are better. You know what I mean?
And that's why the Cowboys selected Brian Schottenheimer as their next head coach, dude. Because you know why?
What a transition.
Because they're going to have the worst record in the league next year. And guess who's going to be sitting right at number 1 for us? Arch Manning, baby. He's coming in to Dallas.
God,
Archie said he can either play for the Saints or he can play for the Cowboys. So.
Is that really what he said?
Yeah, he said that was his 2 teams they wanted him to play for. So.
Yeah.
Did Jerry even try?
Probably need a quarterback, honestly.
This is honestly
he interviewed 4 people.
They interviewed like 7 or 8 people. So yeah, because they interviewed Brian Sala, Schottenheimer, Anthony Lynn.
I didn't see the Anthony Lynn one.
Yeah,
I saw Leslie Frazier.
Leslie Frazier was one of them.
And then Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore,
Those are the 4 that I
Cliff
read.
Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Did they ever interview him?
I think they did. Yeah.
Okay,
I'm pretty
because
sure they did.
I only read the 4 interviews, and I was like, Jerry might have just punted.
So I mean, honestly, this is what I think happened. I think that their number 1 target was probably Ben Johnson, who went to Chicago, and then they said they were intrigued at one point by Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn might have been a good culture guy. I don't know how he'll be as a head coach. I know he went to the Jets because I was actually watching something where they said like it's becoming a trend where like organizations are bringing in former players of their organization. Aaron Glenn played for the Jets forever, and so they brought him in, and so like I think that was probably their top 2 choices. I don't think Dion was ever actually a serious candidate. I think he was more of like, let's see what the media thinks about this, and let's get more attention on me. And then at the end of the day, they wanted to keep Mike McCarthy, and then they said, but we're also going to hire Jason Witten on staff so that he can take over when we fire you in a few years. And so McCarthy said no, and so it's like, okay, well, we don't really have a better choice because either like they didn't like the hires that they wanted, or the guy said no. Like Kellen Moore, why would Kellen Moore go back to Dallas? I mean, what positive move does that do for him? Is that we ran you off and now we're going to bring you back to be the head coach so that you can fail again? I mean, you already failed working with Dak once. Why would it work a second time? So I don't see how it works. Cliff Kingsbury, I've never been impressed with him as a head coach. I don't see why it would make any sense. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he probably most likely what happened is he went with Brian Schottenheimer because Brian Schottenheimer is going to keep the offense as similar as possible to what Mike McCarthy was doing.
Is that a good thing?
No, but it doesn't matter.
Point.
But this goes back to what I've been saying from the beginning. As long as Rain Dakota Prescott is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, it doesn't matter if Bill Belichick or Bill Parcells or it don't make a shit.
Andy Reid?
Andy Reid can be it doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. It's not going to make a difference. So what they do, they signed Brian Schottenheimer to a 4-year contract. Guess how long Dak's contract is? 4 years. So as Cowboy fans, we're going to suffer for the next 2 years, I'm guessing. Get rid of Dak and just eat the money. Get rid of Schottenheimer. Draft Arch Manning. And then hopefully at that point there's a higher level coach that can be brought in.
See, I did kind of relate this. Do you think this is like the Houston Texans approach from 3 or 4 years ago?
Yes, but it's the wrong approach. So I'm going to be as non-political as possible. The NFL put in a policy that said if you hire minority coaches, you are going to get compensatory picks.
Yes.
So the first thing that the Texans did is they brought in
David Culley.
The Ravens secondary coach who had the worst secondary in the league the year before for 1 year.
Fired him and
got a pick out of it. Fired him. Brought in Lovie Smith.
Yes.
Got a pick out of it. Fired him. And then
but it was that, and because nobody wanted to go be the coach of the Houston Texans.
Yes.
So did nobody want to go be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
No, nobody wants to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
I agree with that
Why
statement 100%.
would you go work for Jerry Jones?
It is not a desirable destination. It is not. And I think this seriously was like, nobody wants to come here, so we got to hire somebody. And, continuity sounds good. I'm not sure if this is the kind of continuity you want to keep around, but yeah, I really do. I don't think there was anybody that was like just jumping for joy to come be the head coach in Dallas.
I mean, like Robert Saleh went back and he got the defensive coordinator job back in San Francisco, so he's back over there. I mean, like there was no good, but honestly, like even if somebody did want to come in, like there was no choice out there that was just going to change what the Cowboys have been doing. There was no good choice out there that I would have been, that if they came in, I would have been like, all right, like this could really change things.
Okay, serious question. If Bill Belichick does not go to North Carolina, is he the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, he still could have been the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. I think he has a buyout clause where he can literally never step on campus.
I agreed, but I think he had already like committed himself. But if he
and
was
his girlfriend's there,
if he was still on the open market, do you think
she's getting that free scholarship, dude?
She's getting free something, but I don't know. I think it's a really big possibility, but
I mean, I actually did consider that as a possibility, was Bill Belichick, but I feel like if that was a possibility, I feel like you would have heard that they at least talked to each other. And
I mean, he did still have a $10 million buyout.
Yeah, but I feel like if there was actually a possibility of that, I feel like
and Jerry doesn't pay for
heard
coaches.
Like, oh, there was conversations between Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones, and that was never even a thing. Apparently, the Brian Schottenheimer hire was even Stephen Jones's idea, which
again,
honestly, is probably worse.
Wait, we gotta have somebody to be our coach, Dad. So unless you, surprised Jerry didn't make himself head coach. I mean, at this point, like just
play Madden.
what's the worst that could happen? Like honestly, like
I mean, you're not gonna win a Super Bowl, so let's just let Jerry throw the headset on for a season,
dude. It's like that scene from Christmas Vacation where she's like, we should just let everybody leave before it gets worse, and he's like, worse? How can it get any worse? That's the point that we're at right now, dude. Like it can't get worse.
Warms my heart.
Yeah,
warms my heart.
So I mean, here's a scenario for you though. Would you rather be like the Cowboys, where it's just like constantly mediocre, or would you rather be the Bills, that you're good but you're still never going to win a Super Bowl?
I'll take the Bills.
I mean, you got to at least be there.
But they're not there.
They're there. They at least have a shot. They lost by a field goal.
Okay, but this is the fourth time now they've been knocked to the playoffs by the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And coming into this game, everybody was still like, hey, man, the Bills might get it done. They're not like, oh, they're going to lose again. No, it was like, hey, this might be the time. Like, there's still a sense of hope. It wasn't just doom and gloom.
They're there.
Now, but if it happens again next year, I might be like, it's worse, inevitable.
Though. I was going to say, but like, isn't that what the Cowboys' mindset, though? Like, there was a point where it was like, I think the Cowboys can do it. And now it's like, well, we know what's going to happen now. Like,
there's that meme of that constant cycle where and there's always like, you are here at whatever point in the season.
Yes, dude, yeah.
But
now it's just sadness.
Like, obviously, but in the Cowboys situation, like, why even watch the game, honestly? Like, why watch? Like, don't watch the games. Like, it's pointless. But, like, if you're a Bills fan, like, you're going to watch.
Well, I mean, it wasn't they went 12-5 2 straight years?
2, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, during the regular season, it was like, to Brian's point, hey, man, they might actually be able to pull it off this year. Like, they look good. I mean, Dak rolled last year. It was looking okay.
Last year was the first year since like, Romo's days, when it was like, this is a legitimate shot of like actually making a push. I didn't say like this is like the chance to win a Super Bowl. It was like, this is a chance that you can actually make a run, because Dak was playing the best of his career. Defense is playing lights out. Like, the offense is playing really well, and then they get blown out at home by the Packers. So then it's like, we're at that point in the cycle. It's like, next year's our year. Yeah. Except, then Jerry has his all-in approach where we sign Ezekiel Elliott back. And we extend Dak Prescott the night before the – like, dude, like –
that is a crazy –
again, I'll go back, and I know I said this at the beginning of the year. This was the perfect opportunity to reset everything. You had the final year of Mike McCarthy and the entire coaching staff. You had the final year of Dak's contract, where it's a prove it for everybody. Like, everybody has to prove this year that you should be on the team next year.
And look what happened.
And instead, he gives them $240 million the day before they play the Browns. Then they go beat the Browns. It's like, okay, maybe we'll be decent this year. Then you find out that the Browns are the Browns. And, like, it's just inevitable, dude. But I don't know what to say anymore. But Brian Schottenheimer, like, I mean, I'll just repeat what other people say. It's the worst hire that they've had since Dave Campo. And, like, with Dave Campo, they went 5-11 3 straight years. So be ready for that. Probably 5-12 since there's 17 games. 5-13 if there's 18 games, which apparently is on the table now again too. So,
well, don't feel too bad. It wasn't the only head-scratching hire of this cycle.
Oh, dude, the Jaguars that you're talking about?
Well, the
Raiders.
Well, the
Raiders.
It's both
too,
of them. The Jaguars one is more of the crazier one to me, not because of who they hired, but how it all went down. So Liam Cohen goes in interviews and is the front runner, but he hates the GM that they have. So he says he's pulling out of the head coaching search in Jacksonville. Tampa Bay gives him the highest. He makes him the highest paid coordinator in the NFL. The next day, the Jags fire that GM, and he immediately goes right to Jacksonville and re-interviews.
That's crazy.
Becomes the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and rightfully so. Tampa Bay is pissed.
I will say too, though, that Shad Khan is also a very terrible owner. Like, he's bad too.
But like, if you've put the vote of confidence in your GM, the GM is the boss of the head coach.
Yeah.
If you're really letting the GM run the coaching search, how are you then going to fire the GM for doing his job? Like, if he's, I don't know. If you didn't think the GM was the guy, you should have fired him before any of this started. Because now all like, I don't know who they hired as their GM, but if you're taking that job, you already know that the head coach was running the show. Because if they fired this guy so they could hire Cohen as the head coach, he's going to have more influence than the GM is anyway.
Well,
so
did you see where they like, there was an interview with Shad Khan and the GM on a video call together, and Shad Khan, like, on the video call was like, yeah, like, if he's not doing a good enough job, like, I'll just fire him. Like, literally, the dude's sitting, like, right next to him.
I just never, at least since I've been following sports, seen a situation unfold like that.
I mean, yeah. But, I mean, is Liam Cohen really, I know we talked about head-scratching jobs, but, I mean, do you think, like, he's actually deserving of that job anyway? I
don't know much about him. I know that he had a decent offense this year in Tampa. Had Baker one of his better years.
Yeah.
Does that mean I think he's going to go into Jacksonville and resurrect that organization? Absolutely not. I'm not so sure there's a person born on this earth that can go to Jacksonville and resurrect that organization. So
yeah, Jacksonville's up there with Cleveland at this point.
Yeah, it's just kind of a rotating door of just less than mediocrity, unfortunately for them.
Yeah.
The best season they had, Blake Bortles was quarterback, for goodness sake. So
that was a hell of a defense, though.
Yeah. But, maybe a little bit head-scratching higher. Definitely a bizarre situation of how it unfolded. Of course, then we can get into the one. It's being heralded as a great hire, but your head coach will be 74 when the season starts next year.
Pete Carroll, dude.
And they keep saying he's a young 74. I know he's an energetic guy, but, like, how long do you really think this guy is going to be able to lead your organization?
I mean,
I sent a TikTok where it was like, Big Daddy, where he's like, he's got a 5-year plan. It's like, what is it? Don't die? Like,
I was just gonna say, what is it? Don't die? Yeah, that's like literally like. I mean, obviously, hope he has great health for however long he's here. But, dude, like, yeah.
I mean, dude, like, honestly,
what's his plan?
Like these organizations, though, dude, like, it honestly, like, everybody talks about Jerry because he's such a big brand, but, dude, like, he's not the only one. Like,
Mark Davis is gonna Mark Davis just as much as Jerry's gonna Jerry.
But, like, and that's what terrifies me, is because who'd Mark Davis get his stuff from? His dad, Al Davis. Just like Stephen Jones is getting all his stuff from Jerry, dude. Like,
but like I I could have
How
seen
about that haircut too, dude?
Yeah, it's one of the worst ever.
Mark Davis is one of the ugliest dudes I've ever seen in my life, dude.
I got to see what this guy looks like.
Oh my god, you don't know what Mark Davis looks like?
No.
Oh, do not show it to your young children. They're gonna get scared, man.
Yeah,
It's
like it's like a mix of John Gruden and Chuck
Doesn't he
Norris.
also have just like a young, fairly attractive girlfriend?
Of course he
an
does.
Owner?
Yeah, because he's an owner.
Yeah.
Of the
Dude.
That's actually him.
That's the owner of the.
Dude, why does he cut his hair like that?
And that's not just one bad haircut. It's been that way for years.
Forever, dude.
Dude.
His mom convinced him when he was a little kid that looked good, and he never changed.
Dude. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just go get a fade, brother.
You see why he loved Gruden? They have similar bad haircuts.
Yeah, dude.
God.
But I don't know. I'm telling you, man.
That is insane, dude. That's like Lord Farquaad. Like, but red. God.
Not a very good looking fella.
Yeah.
But I mean, what does Pete see in this job? Because it feels like he's attacking a rebuild, and I'm not sure if I want. Like, I could have seen why he was interested in Chicago. You already have your franchise QB. You have a decent defense. Yeah, you're in a really tough division. Not like Oakland or Las Vegas is any easier of a division, but you don't have a quarterback, and you don't have a defense. You really don't have anything. Now they have $109 million in cap space, so they can go out.
I was gonna say, like, I do think that he could potentially get them moving in the right direction. I mean, like, dude, I thought when Russell Wilson left the Seahawks that they were gonna fall off big time, and dude, he had Geno Smith step in there. Like, Geno Smith was a career backup, and like he had him step in, and like, I mean, they weren't Super Bowl contenders, but I mean, they were still contending for the division every single year. So like, I mean, like, he's like the kind of guy that he was able to do more with less. Like, I was actually really like, I actually gained a lot more respect for him as a coach after Russell Wilson left, because he kind of showed like that he was still like, he's a good coach. Like, he's able to coach with what he's given. So, I mean, I think that's kind of what you get with the Raiders. Like, they've got good pieces like on the defensive side of the ball, and I mean, they've got a couple decent young guys. It's just like, but like you said, they have no quarterback. They really have no direction. Like, they just need
They have no running
something
back.
going in the right
They
direction.
don't, like their best receiver, Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers.
I mean, with Brock
Bowers.
Bowers,
Brock
tight end,
Bowers.
but he's more, yeah.
Yeah, so
But-
I mean, like, they don't have a guy to throw to him. So I mean, if you got Jacoby Myers and you get Brock Bowers, I mean, you get a couple more pieces. I mean, like, they got Max Crosby on the defensive side. Like, they've got like decent defensive pieces, just putting it all together. And so,
Henry Ruggs.
I think he's still out for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Possibly
Possibly.
up or
He might be.
up for a contract?
He's signing a new contract pretty soon.
Something happened. I think he actually had to quit playing football. I'm not
Yeah,
entirely
man.
sure what happened there. but,
Life was going too fast for him.
Yeah.
I guess so. Did you go to Georgia?
I was just about to say that, man. He had. Are we sure he didn't transfer at some
Yeah,
point and end up at Georgia? But do we think Russ and Pete running back? Do we think Russell goes to as a bridge quarterback?
Man, that's actually an interesting concept. I didn't even think about that, dude. Like,
Free agent? I don't know if Pete runs it back with Pittsburgh. And again, Las Vegas is not in a good spot to draft one of the top quarterbacks without having to make a trade. I know Tennessee's GM has kind of said that it's open out there.
Vegas is drafting Shedeur.
Well, yeah, then they have to trade out with Tennessee to get him.
Dude, Tennessee. Do you think Tennessee takes Shedeur?
No, for the GM to say that they're open for business already tells me that he wants to trade out.
Who's gonna be their quarterback then? Will Levis still? Are they still relying on him?
Well, like we've talked about, I think there's a lot of serviceable backups, and Tennessee's a better football team than I would say. Not by obviously not. They have the number one pick, but still, I feel like Tennessee's further away from competing. I guess maybe, or that's the GM's approach. He's like embracing the rebuild, so he'll trade out and
Stack picks.
yes,
Yeah.
like he's like, hey, I don't care if we draft the best quarterback of all time. This team's not competing next year. So if we trade out stack picks, make somebody overpay me, so they can get their quarterback.
Or they're like a lot of teams, they just don't value this year's quarterback class, and they're like, 100%. Let's stack picks. Let's build this thing up, and then once our guy is now available through the draft or through free agency, we'll go get him.
Exactly, kind of like what Chicago did, and find a team that's desperate for a quarterback. And they found one in Carolina.
Yeah,
they got a heist for it.
Absolutely torched Carolina.
Yes, got a heist for it, and Chicago's much better for it. Tennessee's hoping to find a team to overpay. Someone like Mark Davis, who's very, very much wanting something big. So I can see them overpaying.
Number 3, right?
I can't get over that haircut, man.
I can't believe you haven't seen him.
God,
dude.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, because like, I wonder if they're in a situation where if they know that Tennessee's going to sit back, because on the other side, like, if Tennessee's not really looking for a quarterback and nobody's really going to oversell, you could just take like an offensive lineman, like you could take Kelvin Banks, or you could take a guy like that, and then you're at least getting a piece that you're going to need that's going to help build your roster, and then you can worry about a quarterback in the future. Again, next year, where there's going to be more guys coming out. I mean, I don't know how much better.
Where are the Raiders at?
I think they're at number 3.
New York's 3.
So they got to be up there, though.
I mean, I would think
the Wi-Fi kicked out, so
they're probably pretty high.
Cool. Well, it's probably doing like an update.
But
yeah, I mean, they're definitely up there because they have one of the worst records. But I
think they're like 4 or 5. It's
they're
far,
6.
They're 6. Okay, it's far enough back to where.
So they definitely could trade up then. In that case, I mean, they could potentially trade up to number 1 because the Giants are 2.
The Giants are 3. Cleveland's 2.
Patriots 4.
So the
Jacksonville 5.
Because Cleveland would be one that would reach.
Tennessee needs a quarterback. Cleveland needs a quarterback. New York needs a quarterback. And then Vegas at 6 needs a quarterback. So they have 3 teams in front of them that could viably say we need to draft a quarterback. And Cleveland needs one. They're stuck with Deshaun, but he's not playing next year anyway because of the Achilles injury. So it doesn't matter the contract or not. Injury-wise, he's not playing next year. So you got to have somebody.
They got Jameis, dude. What do they need?
Nah, dude. I think Jameis needs to go into broadcasting, man. We need to get that on the air every day.
He needs to be like a church preacher.
He doesn't need to go. Yeah, he doesn't need to go.
I think he already is.
Yeah.
He'd be eating them W's. So.
I think he'd be better on Barstool, man. Just uncensored, unfiltered.
Dude, put him with Gruden, just like
and Marshawn.
Yeah.
Imagine that broadcast. Dude, I would watch that.
I would watch that all the time.
That might actually get just out of hand.
Yeah, that's the point.
Just let him go.
It's better than freaking listening to Romo.
Yeah, I like Romo.
I mean, he's all right, but it's
Collinsworth.
I mean,
now here's a guy.
No, it's just so bland. Like the Barstool Bowl, we talked about that. Like, that was awesome, man. Like I want more of that.
No, I agree for sure.
Just unfiltered, funny stuff. That'd be great.
That's what they need to find like a streaming service where it's just like uncensored, whatever.
Dude, I've thought about that. Like, I would pay like they have NFL Sunday Ticket. Like you pay like $160 a year a season, but you do that, but like it's like pay-per-view where it's like just like cursing, like talking about bets, like just don't.
It's just like honest, like in the moment feedback, not just like, oh, I hear you.
Yeah, exactly. I think that'd be great. I'd pay for that for sure.
Or we can start it. It can be us.
Yeah.
We can charge people for it.
Yeah.
And get better podcasts.
Yeah, bake sale didn't go well. So. No, but I mean, I don't know. The draft, whatever. It's not a good class for quarterbacks. We'll see what happens.
I just feel like there's so many other pieces that are available for teams
that are needed.
Yeah, I mean, like, but that at the same time too, like if these quarterbacks are as low as we think they might be, like this draft order might be pretty similar next year, honestly. Like because it's going to be all the same teams.
100%.
They're going to be all just bad again. Like
yeah,
because I mean, any of those teams that are in the top 10. I mean, I don't see any of them just making a jump. Maybe Chicago. Like, if Caleb Williams can find a way to take a step up. But, like, Vegas, the Giants,
the Jets,
the Titans, the Jets,
the Saints,
like, the Raiders, Saints, like all those teams are in just, like, they're just, like, such low-quality rosters right now. Like, the NFL like it's really gotten to a point where it's really pretty top heavy. Honestly, like it makes it even on the bottom, but on the top, like it's just there's not a whole lot there. So,
well, as we stated, everyone's kind of like, what's the point right now? The Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah.
So makes it boring.
I mean, eventually they're going to age out, though. You would think. I mean, like,
is Mahomes even 30?
Well, I'm talking like Kelsey's got to be getting close.
I think this is Kelsey's last year.
Yeah,
I think Kelsey's done.
Well,
how old is he?
35.
Yeah, he's been around for a while. Cincinnati Bearcat.
If they win, he's done. I think even if they lose, he's done. But for sure, if they win, he does. Him and his brother have that new height show. He'll go straight into television. ESPN is dreaming of the idea of having him and Jason have their own show.
Dude,
I
love Jason
guarantee
Kelsey.
it.
Oh yeah,
for
dude,
one
he's
reason.
awesome.
He brought back backyard sports. Did you ever play those games as kids?
Yeah.
The backyard baseball, backyard football. They're back. They're coming out on iOS on your phone. Like in the next few weeks.
Let's go,
Dude.
dude.
Whenever they were announcing that, I was so excited. They kind of
he bought it. Like he invested in the company.
They kind of talked about it and everything, trying to bring it back.
Yeah, he invested in the company. And
one of the greatest sports game franchises ever.
Oh, dude, I freaking
Pablo
like
Sanchez.
No, but they're like because like back in the day they had like professionals like on like for backyard football, like and like on their X they're like announcing like they're re-upping their like what's it called?
Yeah,
like,
but like
contracts with those old players, like they're like welcome back to the backyard, Drew Bledsoe and stuff. Like it's awesome. Like Drew Bledsoe's back. Barry Larkin for baseball's back.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be great, dude. Steve Young signed a deal with them to come back. Nomar Garcia Parra,
good stuff,
John
man.
Elway, like
Dang,
it's good
dude,
stuff.
That's gonna be crazy.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome, man. And it's coming into like cell phones like in the next few weeks. They've announced it.
Dang, that's gonna be awesome.
It's already on Steam, so you can play it on your computer right now.
For real?
Yeah. But
hopefully it's as good as it once was.
oh, dude, it's gonna be just as great. I can't wait.
Even if it's exactly the same, it's gonna be.
That's perfect.
but
It was perfect in its own form.
But they're talking about doing like obviously they made the graphics a little bit better, but they're talking about like doing like current football and baseball and soccer and all the players too.
Nice.
Like new rosters and stuff, which would be sweet.
Yeah, that'd be sweet for sure.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. That's crazy.
What is it? 60 days until baseball
60
starts.
days until opening day.
Opening day, so we're almost to opening day too. What are y'all's thoughts about the whole Presley and Bregman and Altuve left field? Y'all see that?
It's kind of crazy, man. Like,
I mean, Biggio did it.
well,
right?
did you listen to? Did you listen
Went to center?
to Dana Brown's interview?
I didn't listen to the whole. I saw clips.
It was like super weird. Like
Yeah.
when they asked him about it, he was like, "Yeah, you
door's
know,
cracked.
we're talking. The door's cracked open."
Yeah.
It was almost like he felt like and maybe I think he's just very like just straight and narrow.
Yeah.
But it almost seemed like he was kind of like, "We're talking because I'm being told we need to talk to him."
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the vibe I got. It was like we need to try to make this work because the people want him.
Yeah.
Whereas like even though we already prepared, which he pretty much even said that he was like, we had already pretty much built our roster to move on from Bregman, and now here we are talking to him again.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a weird vibe that I kind of got, but I mean, I think it'd be great. I mean, I think your defense gets better. I mean,
I don't think it's it might be a 1 or 2 year deal.
Yeah.
Like he just has like a 1 year contract. Come back, see if he can test the market next year.
see, but in that case, what's the point? Like, I mean, if he takes the 6 year, $156 million, like I'm all about it. But if he's going to take a 1 year, 2 year, $70 million deal, like, I don't know. That would almost seem kind of just delaying the inevitable to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't see it moving the needle to where like you're all of a sudden like a higher contender because of it.
I mean, I think you're a contender this year. I mean, you got to beat the Dodgers, obviously, but like, you're definitely the favorite in the West if he comes back.
So what was the point of the Presley deal? Shedding contract?
Well,
Because we're getting
yes.
nothing back.
Yes.
And we're even paying
No,
some money.
we got some back. We got a
low-level player.
No, I think he was a mid-level pitching prospect from the Cubs.
Okay.
I think he was actually-
I thought I read low-level player.
Yeah, I think he actually has pretty good, pretty high ceiling. So
Yeah.
he could actually end up being decent. But
But it wasn't like Well, no, it wasn't a move we had to make. So are we just shedding?
I think they wanted to shed
money?
the contract.
I mean, we all know he wasn't good last year.
Yeah,
but I mean,
Ben Verlander was trying to blame it on him getting moved to the 8th inning and not being the closer again. I was like, no, like you already saw the decline in 2023.
Yeah.
And then, like it just rolled over into 2024.
Winning fixes all of that. If they were to keep winning, he'd been fine being the setup guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think the spot in the rotation was the issue. I don't think he was like demanding to be traded out of Houston. I don't see that.
No, they wanted to stay. Him and his family wanted to stay.
He wouldn't waive his no trade contract at first.
Yeah, he was holding out because he had a no trade clause, and then I guess they negotiated enough to get him out. And I mean, I know his wife was on kind of X throughout the season too, like kind of going at Astros fans online who were like kind of throwing shade at him because he kept blowing games.
Which, I mean, I get it, like, because, I mean, you think about it, 2 years ago, like, we were praising him as, this incredible guy.
He was great.
And then the next year, like, the same people were trashing him.
But the drop-off was so big. I mean, you shouldn't trash him. Absolutely don't do that. That's messed up. Like, don't go after people and their families and stuff on X or whatever. But, like, the drop-off was significant. Like, his velo was down. He wasn't locating that changeup. Like, it was bad.
But it was also the build-up. Like, after we signed Hader, it was like this 7-8-9.
Yeah.
Abreu, Presley to Hader. Like, if our starters get through 6, like, we're great.
And then all three of them sucked in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. And it was like, oh, God, this immaculate bullpen is now all of a sudden very hittable.
Yeah, Abreu kind of reverted back to like before the season before, where he just had command issues. Like he could not find the strike zone. If he finds the strike zone, he's unhittable.
He's great,
but he just had trouble locating, and that was his issue. And but I mean, I think with him moving on to Chicago, I think that freed up the space that I guess Jim Crane wanted to have there to, I guess, give Bregman a little bit more money. But again, I mean, I think if he comes in the lineup, our lineup looks a lot better.
Yeah.
From 1 to 9.
I mean, I think it definitely puts you to be the favorite to win the division.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it even pushes you to get through the AL. I mean, who's
us and the Yankees?
Yeah, I was going to say it's the Astros and the Yankees. I mean, like
maybe the Red Sox. The Red Sox have made some moves.
I'll say the Red Sox will be better this year.
Orioles.
The Orioles, maybe the Guardians again. Like, I mean,
Guardians kind of shed. I mean, I would say the Tigers.
Yeah, Tigers be better. Yeah. But I don't know.
But I mean, we definitely a top 3 contender.
The Rangers have to rebound some, right? That was a crazy drop off.
Their pitching staff.
I mean, was it a crazy drop off, or they just
Seattle also has an outstanding
year? Like,
That's true. Seattle also has an outstanding starting. Yeah, that starting pitch. They have 6 guys that are very, very good.
Yeah, they're scary.
Didn't they? I thought Luis Castillo left.
No, he's still there. No, he's still there. Yeah, that's very true.
Robbie Ray's not there.
Yeah.
And Robbie Ray was like, when they got him, it was like, this is like, he was just off a Cy Young, caliber season, and he's not even part of that 6.
Still remember when Jordan went yak on him.
Yeah. They don't have the offense, and
no.
I feel like that was Texas when they won the World Series. Like, their offense was just clicking at the right time, and they had no pitching staff and they also
got the easiest World Series opponent in recent memory.
Yeah, got the Diamondbacks.
Like, the biggest thing is like their offense was rolling, and like you just kept waiting for it to fall off, and it just never did.
Yeah.
Oh, it did for 3 games against the Astros.
Well, yeah,
and then when we woke up a sleeping giant.
Yeah, but
freaking Adolis.
Yeah, and he like. Dude, that dude's roided up for sure.
Then he stunk last year.
Yeah, he was awful, and I mean,
it happens though. Guys go on those runs.
Returns back to the mean. Yep.
Guys goes. I mean, Springer had that one postseason for us.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not been. Love George Springer. Not been great as a J.
Yeah, he's also. He's had injury concerns the whole time too. I mean, that's part of it as well. But I mean, yeah, I think if Bregman comes back, the lineup looks better. I mean, it's one of the top lineups in the AL if he comes back, I think. Especially adding Christian Walker, like, at first.
Yeah, Walker at first definitely helps. Paredes definitely helps. Jordan's got to find a way to stay healthy this year. I mean, that's a big thing.
He has to be a full-time DH.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
Yeah, go sign Santander. He still hasn't signed.
Yes,
he did.
Oh, did he really?
He signed
Blue Jays.
Yeah, the Jays. That's what it was.
Today?
No, it was like last week or earlier this week.
Oh,
it was, yeah.
dude, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sign with the Jays.
Like, dude, if you're the Astros, if you make that happen with Bregman, like, that's a very, very scary lineup.
I mean, honestly,
Jim
like,
Crane's not forking out that money. We already know that.
But I mean, if you want to win a World Series, look, you got to compete with the Dodgers. Like, you got to do something.
but they said the 6-year 156 is still on the table. I mean, it's $36 million a year. I mean, it's still within the range you want. Like, here it is. I mean, you can negotiate to 2 years, $70 million. But I mean, like, I mean, the last thing I would want is a 1-year deal. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if you want to make one final push, go for it. But I mean, for me, like, you're forcing him in there is kind of what it turns into.
Also, if I'm Alex Bregman, I mean, I know Bregman's the kind of guy to go bet on himself, but you have declined, and you can't really ignore the fact you've declined.
Yeah.
Are you really taking a 1-year deal and thinking about hitting the market next year? Because if he doesn't rebound, like, you're costing yourself probably anywhere from 50 to 70 million over the course of a contract.
And you have Cam Smith right behind him at third.
Yeah.
So
That's another thing. And that's another reason why they might do like a 2-year deal with him. Develop Cam Smith a little bit longer than have him take the reins at third.
yeah, I mean, money-wise, to me, taking a short-term deal doesn't make sense.
No.
But the problem is the market's just not there. Because with the Blue Jays signing Sandier, I don't think Bregman's in the running to go there anymore. And Boston was rumored forever, but there hasn't been a lot of chatter about that recently
The
either.
other chatter was with Detroit.
Detroit was the biggest one.
Detroit
that I
made the
heard.
most sense to me.
Yeah.
Well,
But
and
they
like-
still have that Javi Baez contract they can't get out of, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But they were even talking to him as early as this week, I think. So
Yeah.
I think that they've still been in talks. It's just, I don't know what the.
I'm sure Hinch wants him.
Well, yeah, I'm sure Hinch is definitely making a push, and I do wonder what the difference in contract is. But I mean, this kind of goes to show, and we may have talked about this in past episodes, but I mean, I think people are just tired of dealing with Scott Boras. Like,
He's had this before. I mean, what Harper signed in February.
yeah, but also what I mean is, like, I just feel like people aren't just dealing like with his like bully tactic. Like that's how he, because it's ever since that one offseason where he signed like $1 billion worth of deals with all his clients. Ever since then, like, he's had a lot harder time, getting where he wants to be.
Yeah, because out of that $1 billion, the $1 billion of signings, like, how many of those hit? They saw the writing on the wall. Like, you see those contracts fail, and you're like, I'm not doing that.
Exactly.
So is this more of there's not interest in Bregman, or everybody's just playing coy and trying to soften the market?
I think
Probably
it's
both.
I think it's more of Boris overvalues his clients and he won't budge. And so the GMs eventually they go, this is what we're doing, like kind of what the Astros are doing. 6 years, 156 is what we're offering you.
Yeah.
We're not budging from that. So
But I mean, like, as far as Boris goes and as far as teams go, like what we talked about before on here, the Chapman contract should be the baseline. Like, there's not a world that Alex Bregman is worth less than Matt Chapman. If Chapman got that contract, Bregman should be like, I should get at least at the right in the same amount.
What was his AAV?
It's actually less than the 6 years 156 that the Astros are offering. So like,
yeah, that's
like
great
that is
deal.
it's the perfect spot. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the perfect spot.
yeah, but that's what I mean. So I
Yeah.
wonder what Boris is asking for then.
200.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, he's wanted over 200.
Yeah, so I mean, we're $50 million apart. Like I'm not paying $50 million extra dollars. Like,
Agreed.
but I don't know. It'd be interesting though. I mean, I would be excited to have him back. I mean, obviously he's been a staple. I mean, last year was the only year that he's been with the Astros. They didn't go to the ALCS, which is still insane to me to think about. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like he's always been a staple. He's always been a great leader for the clubhouse, and so you just kind of leave Altuve by himself because I mean, Jordan's not a vocal clubhouse leader. Like he's a lead by example kind of guy. And so like really if it goes down to just Altuve, I mean like he's only going to carry you so much. I mean maybe Pena finally starts stepping up a little bit as far as like being a leadership guy, but I mean he's no Carlos Correa. I mean like it's a difference. And so it just I mean
he's still young though. Like
yeah.
I wonder if it's his second, third year.
Yeah, but isn't he like 27?
This is year 4, isn't it?
Nah. I think this is going into his third year, I believe.
Okay.
I think last year was his second, I
You're
believe.
right.
Yeah, but wasn't he 25 when he his first year?
I don't know.
I feel like he was older, so like he's young in terms of service time, but in terms of actual age, he's already getting up there.
Well, that's what I wonder with him too, because I know they drafted Bryce Williams a couple years ago in Nebraska as a shortstop. So I wonder if he'll come up at any point.
He's 27.
27, yeah. So he's still got plenty of years. So
I mean, yeah.
because they have decent guys coming up. It's kind of like we talked about before. It's like their farm system's not great, but there's some pieces in there that are still serviceable. So,
well, the MLB farm systems are so large, you don't need that many players. You just need one or two every few years to hit, and you're fine. In all honesty,
for sure. The surplus is where it comes in for like trade value.
Correct.
That's where the surplus comes in,
which is very much lacking.
But I remember even like that year we gave up all that stuff to get Zach Greinke, as old as he was, and it was like, oh, that's all these top prospects. How many of them hit in Arizona?
Yeah, I mean
0.
Yeah.
I think one of them got up to the league for a little bit, but
I don't even know who they even gave up for.
It was God.
It was like 2 or 3 of our top 10 prospects, I thought.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot,
for a 36-year-old.
But they got
at the time.
Was it 2 or 3 years they got out of him, or 2.5?
Greinke?
Yeah, or was it 1.5?
Might have only been 1.5, but
yeah, I think it was 1.5.
But still, to me, it was a lot at the time for a 35, 36-year-old starter, whatever he was. But
it's not worse than the Verlander trade.
No,
where they gave up their top 2 prospects.
Weren't they both outfield prospects?
Yes.
Yeah.
That they kind of need right now.
Yeah, one of them was that kid from Tennessee.
Yes. Drew Gilbert? Was that his name? Yeah. Gilbert and Clifford. Those are 2, number 1 and number 2 prospects.
Interesting with him going to San Francisco. I guess that's just one that gave him the most money, Verlander.
Yeah, I was actually surprised.
Why does he still?
I don't know.
What?
I mean, I guess it's kind of a prove it thing, prove that I still got it. Because the Astros, he doesn't fit with the Astros because they're not going to dish out that much. And Detroit, Detroit's starting to kind of make that turn, so it's not a situation where he would be able to go back and really help.
But Detroit doesn't have 5 guys better than Verlander right now, do they? They probably have 3, maybe 4, but. I don't know. I just thought Detroit would have been a nice little homecoming. But, Verlander's, for a while, it was he's making the push for 300 wins, but he's not going to stay healthy enough to get to 300 wins.
Yeah, no, I mean.
And you're going to that division, and, not like San Francisco's anywhere. I mean, the Dodgers obviously clearing away. Padres are still there. Arizona's 2 years removed from a World Series run. It's not like you're going to a division where you're looking at stacking up a possible 12 to 15 wins.
Yeah, at least you're only playing them 14 times a year instead of 19.
That's true.
So.
That is true.
Yeah.
But
that's still rough for sure.
Thought that was an interesting choice on his part.
Yeah, I mean, it must have come down to numbers somehow because, I didn't really understand it either because I thought he would either go Detroit, Houston, or retire. So the fact that he even decided to give it one more shot.
Mix it up again.
Yeah. I don't see San Francisco being very good next year either. I mean, they were pretty bad this year. I think they started off decent, then they fell off. So
I don't see it.
But I don't know. But.
We gave up Josh Rojas. That was the top prospect. He's with the Mariners now, but
yeah.
I mean, he hit 270 his best year in Arizona.
So not bad.
125 games.
What position?
Played.
That's not bad.
I think he's a second baseman.
Oh, okay.
Well, he kind of plays everywhere, it looks like.
Yeah.
So utility guy.
Yeah. But I mean, sorry, I was looking that up. But
yeah.
At the time, it was considered big. We gave up a lot, but then you look at how things turn out. It's did you really lose that much?
I will say, a lot of the trades in recent history that the Astros have made have benefited them. The guys have given up have not turned out to just be superstars.
For sure.
I mean, like when they got Graveman for Abraham Toro, and he hit well for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh no!" Like give Toro. Like
No.
I mean, the Montero trade.
Yeah.
That ended up being really good. I mean, whenever we signed
The Garrett Cole trade.
oh god, that was
Look
great.
at the guys they get for that. Like,
Yeah.
like none of those dudes panned out.
No.
Like,
The one too is
Was Musgrove part of that deal?
Musgrove was in that deal.
Yeah.
He's probably been the best one out of that deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got whenever we got Christian
Christian Javier.
no
Not Javier.
the
Christian
catcher from the
Vasquez?
Christian Vasquez.
Vasquez, yeah.
That was a good trade. That ended up being clutch.
Yeah. I actually wish they would have extended him.
Dude,
I was
Agreed.
I'm on the same boat, which now I'm not because Yiner's really good.
I am too, but like if
I would
they
have rather had Vasquez and Yiner than
Martin Maldonado for 17
I
years.
mean, we win another World Series if they sign Christian Vasquez. In my
100%.
opinion, like,
100%.
like that's literally the difference between a World Series, another World
Yes,
Series.
dude. Yeah, when you have an automatic out in your lineup every single night, like,
Crazy.
thanks, Dusty.
I mean,
He said we'd be thanking
Chicago,
him,
the White
so-
Sox loved him too. Dude, they were talking so much mess about him online.
Dude,
this year is
Did you
bad.
see his
So
his
bad.
bad?
Dude, it was like
he
was he even 100?
No, it wasn't.
No,
he
it
was
wasn't.
hitting like 065 or something.
Yeah,
Like
dude,
it was
it was-
atrocious.
yeah.
But dude, they were saying the same thing. It was like it's his defensive prowess, and he was one of the worst defensive catchers in the league too.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like it was terrible. Like. And they finally ditched him. And,
crazy.
and then when they waived him, like Astros fans are like, "We'll take him back." I'm like, "How are you still saying that, dude?" Like,
dude, he
after
wasn't good in
everything, like,
LA either.
No.
That's the thing. Like he was a good defensive catcher in LA when he was younger.
His first round with the Astros, he was great. The first time he came through,
JV also loved him, right?
Yeah.
they all loved him. Like Framber's still crying. Like, dude, look at the year Framber. The first half of the year, Framber was boohooing in the dugout. That's why he sucked, and then he finally got over it and figured
All of
out.
a sudden, he's a Cy Young guy again.
Yeah, exactly. Like his second half of the year was great. Like,
Yeah.
like, dude, it's not all about. I mean, I know a lot of it is about the relationship with your catcher, but like that's not all you have to rely on.
Yeah, if you're a professional pitcher, like you should be able to adapt.
Like, yeah, dude, like it's like that spring training game when he decided to call his own pitches and he gets rocked for like 6 runs.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, maybe it's not all about you. Like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
You want to talk about SEC basketball at all?
I'm sure we have to. Sure we have to.
Dude,
I mean, if we want to talk about basketball, we can talk about the NBA. But
I mean, I watched
Dude, the
some
Rockets
yesterday.
beating the Cavs again.
twice in a row.
Yeah, dude.
Did you like that little pivot? I just got right off that real
That
fast.
was
Yeah.
another great win, dude.
Awesome,
They were
dude.
about to blow them out too.
We're 30-14, man.
Yeah,
I'm starting. I'm officially starting to get excited as the season goes on. Like I try to keep stopping myself to not get too much into it. I'm officially starting to get a little bit.
But are you the Bills this year? Like you're gonna run into freaking OKC?
No. Like I mean, I'm not getting like overly excited. Like oh, we're gonna make a run in the playoffs. I'm just saying like I don't see us just having this dramatic fall off to where we like fall into like the play-in tournament. Like I think we'll for sure be a top 6 seed.
I mean,
maybe even have
at
a
30-14. You're probably gonna be a top 3 seed. No.
no because like we're still only 2.5 games from falling all the way to 6. Like that, it's that close
Yeah.
between
It's
2 and
tight.
6.
It's tight.
So like, but I don't think we're gonna fall into 7, 8, 9, and 10.
No.
And this roster's still very young. Udoka's a great coach. I think.
Corey Eason went to a good school.
I love that. Let's get past the trade deadline before I start giving too many flowers. But I love what I'm hearing about not breaking this team down. What I will be okay with is if in the offseason we decide to trade a couple of pieces in a deal maybe to get not a 35-year-old veteran, but maybe a little bit of a veteran presence. But I hate when teams trade away all these great young players for old heads. I hate it. But at some point, you do get to a point where you have too many young guys.
Yeah, and you can use a veteran presence that can
Because
galvanize the young team.
Because just because you have 15 guys, you're going to run a 8, maybe a 9-man rotation. And if you have 13 guys, you're just wasting talent.
Yeah.
So even if you trade them for picks, I don't care. Future picks when you might be bad again. OKC's done. So, but yeah, loving it. It's going good.
Dude,
We are very much 2 years away from being serious, which is what OKC was a few years
You know what's
ago,
crazy,
but-
dude?
the ending to that game though, the Cavs where they fouled him on the 3-point shot, missed
Darius Garland's a 90% free throw shooter. He missed 2 or 3.
I know, it's crazy.
No, it was.
And they got the ball back because they called it a freaking flagrant.
That's wild. Dude.
No, they've been playing great basketball. This is without Jabari Smith Jr. too, who is one of our better defenders. Sengun is having he's taking another step forward. And like I said, I don't know if it's last week or 2 weeks ago, when Jalen Green is hot, we win games. And when he's shooting 40%, it's tough to beat us.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see us sticking it out in these tight games at the end, because early season we were blowing these. We were losing those games in the fourth quarter. So there is some growth there again. It's just fun. It's just fun to watch. I think it'll only get better.
Dude, just looking at the standings, so the Rockets are the 2 seed. They're 6.5 games behind OKC for the 1 seed, but there's only a 7.5 game difference between them and Sacramento at the 10 seed.
Dang.
That's how tight the West is right now, dude. Like,
but let's pivot back to college basketball. Did y'all watch the Kansas-Houston game?
Dude,
that was a crazy game. Dude.
That game was wild. Like, I picked it up like late in the second half. And I remember Kansas went up 6 under a minute left. I'm like, oh, dude, it's over. And, dude, they could not make a free throw to save their life, dude.
And then Houston with the clutch 3.
And then in overtime, they go by 6 again, and then they hit that clutch 3.
Yeah.
And then, then they blow it open in second overtime.
I also watched Tennessee Auburn.
That was a
really good game, too.
And Tennessee's top scorer wasn't even playing. He was sick.
Yeah.
So
Auburn ended up eking it out. I watched a little bit of LSU Alabama. I mean, LSU hung with them the whole game, and then ended up getting kind of blown out a little bit. But
80 or 73, it's not bad.
I mean, dude, it was. I think it was tied at half, like 30-30.
Yeah, it was close.
Crazy thing,
Sears
didn't play.
It was like 40-38. No, it was high scoring. It was like a barn burner.
Am I wrong?
Not at half.
Yeah.
Was it 40-38 at half?
I don't know. All I remember,
I thought it was super low scoring because they were like. The pace that it was going, because Alabama was one of the highest scoring teams in the country, and LSU like held them in check.
Hold on.
I thought it was
40-40 at half.
40-40, not 30-30. That's what it was.
Was this the game that Sears didn't play the entire second half for Bama?
No, I think he did. He was 0 for 5 in the first
Sears
half.
plays for LSU.
No,
he plays for Bama.
Oh, it says LSU on here.
Marcus Sears?
There's LSU has
there's
one
a
too.
Jordan Sears.
LSU has one too, yeah.
Very confusing.
Marcus Sears. Does it show minutes? He was
0 for 5.
He's a preseason All-American. I don't think he played the entire second half.
He played 17 minutes. So, so he probably didn't play the second half.
He didn't play the entire second half. That's
crazy.
crazy.
He shot 0 for 5.
Yeah, he was 0
That's
for 5
crazy.
in the first half.
Preseason All-American. Nate Oates, big balls to bench your preseason All-American for an entire second half.
Yeah, he was 0 for 5 in the
first half. And he literally
half.
said it in the post-game presser, like, I play the guys, I feel the game out, and I play the guys that I think is going to give us the best matchup to win.
God, that's rough if you lose that game.
That is rough, because they're going to be like, well, how'd you sit him? But, I mean.
Dude, Vanderbilt upset Kentucky, stormed the court. And then,
hang on, but so just because you said storm the court, did Auburn storm the court?
No.
I thought I saw a video of like a bunch of fans on the court. Okay,
I hope not, dude.
The number one.
No, at the end of the game, they did not.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I
thought I saw a video where like it seemed like there was a bunch of fans around a player, and I was like, please tell me.
No.
You can keep stalling as long as you want, dude.
Yeah, UConn lost again to Xavier, like 2-time defending national champ. That's a tough look.
UConn's down this year.
Dan Hurley, all that talking, 3-peat, doesn't go to L.A., best coach in college basketball. Might need to start winning some games.
14-6, yeah.
Yeah,
down to number 19. Yeah, dude, they might drop out of the top 25.
Did they blow a 20-point lead?
They sure didn't. You know who
so,
did?
guys, this has been a great episode 30. Thank y'all for joining in. And
how does that happen?
So I
didn't watch the game.
It was 42-25 at halftime.
I texted y'all that, at least they didn't blow a 21-point lead. I had to correct myself. It's a 22-point lead.
Jesus.
With 17 minutes to go, 17-something to go in the second half, A&M is up 50 to 28?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Or 51-29.
Yeah.
51-29. We proceed to score 17 points. 18 points the rest of the game. Because it finished 70-69. In 17 minutes, we scored 18 more points.
God. Trey Johnson went off, too.
He had 30, right?
We had a 7-point lead with under 2 to go?
You know how much...
And it stinks, but
Was it missed free throws? Like, what?
No, just just not, just bad execution. And I'm not going to sit here and be
Free
mad
throws were
because
bad, though.
every other game we've been in this year like this, we've won.
Yeah.
We just did this to Ole Miss. We did not lead we just beat Ole Miss at Ole Miss 63-62. We did not hold a lead for the entire game. We hit a three-pointer with 13 seconds left to take the lead for the first time in the game, and we won. So for me to sit here, I'm not happy. Don't get me wrong. We blew a 22-point freaking lead, but we've also won like 5 of these games this year. We did the same thing to Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma too. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
shot 3 of 8 from the free throw line.
But it's the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
We had 8 free throws the entire game. That sounds like some home cooking in Austin.
Texas was 14 of 17.
That sounds like some home cooking in Austin.
There weren't many free throws at all, honestly.
That's
only
how,
shooting 17 to it.
I'm sure y'all tuned into the LSU South Carolina women's game, but that's like the same thing there.
Yeah,
like, sure. No, but honestly, LSU played South Carolina.
It was a close game for a while.
No, LSU was up for a little bit of it.
How many points did Angel Reese have?
She doesn't play for LSU anymore. No, South Carolina shot 29 free throws to LSU 6.
God,
or something like crazy like that, and they ended up losing by 10.
Hey, LSU was in a barn burner with A&M today for a while.
In
the women's.
Oh, no, I think it was like a 10-point game.
Oh, it ended up being a blowout, but it was tied for a while. But anyway,
anyway, Texas led that game for 3 seconds. It was the last 3 seconds of the game.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was. I'm not even gonna lie. I had that. I tuned in that game midway through the. It was like 13 or 14 minutes left in the second half. We had a double-digit lead, and I was already like looking at standings. Oh, we're going to 5-2. That's 2. That's like 3 good wins. We're in a pretty soft spot of the schedule. Like we can make a little run here, and this is starting to look real nice. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't recheck it, and I got my ESPN update, and it said Texas 70, A&M 69, and I bowed shit. I was like, "You got to be kidding me! Like, there's no way."
Yeah,
and then I went and dug through the box score and found that, and yeah,
Texas was actually favored in that game too, which I thought was crazy.
Coming in
at home,
yeah, I think the it was like 52 or 53% chance.
Yeah,
I tip off. Texas
the final spread I think was 1.5. So crazy.
Tough, but I mean, SEC's a gauntlet. Like I said, if you go 500 this year in the SEC, as long as you had a good non-conference, which pretty much every SEC school did, you're probably getting in. I know Joe Lenardi's last update, 13 of the 16 teams were in. So
13 of 16.
13 of 16.
Who's missing out? LSU, South Carolina, and who?
Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
God,
Arkansas's bad, dude.
Yeah. Calipari, man.
Yeah, didn't they beat LSU though?
No, LSU beat Arkansas.
Oh, that's right, 78-74.
One of those.
Oh, they beat Georgia.
One of the big name cats from Arkansas he's out for the year.
Yeah, dude. Calipari.
Rough start.
Yeah,
rough start.
Not good, dude. Yeah, because everybody else is. Georgia's 2-5. Oklahoma 2-4. Texas.
There's a lot of 4-3s. Huh?
Yeah, a lot of 4-3s. Florida and Missouri 5-2, Bama 6-1, and then Auburn 6-0.
Should be 3 teams at 5-2. 22-point lead, man. That was tough to swallow.
Yeah,
on the road.
You can trade it off because, like you said, there's dude, they were down by like 8 points with a minute left against.
We should have lost Ole Miss. We should have lost Oklahoma. So
yeah.
These games are gonna happen, but it just kind of stunk because in that same last bracketology. He was like, if you want to have a sneaky Final Four pick, A&M might be your new favorite team to follow because they're gritty, they play great defense. His exact words, they're winning all the close games. And I was like, the next freaking game, the next game we do this. But hey, if we're gonna blow a lead and have a meltdown, let's do it.
Now.
Let's do it early SEC play and. I think Buzz Williams will get him right. So
don't worry, dude. College baseball's coming soon.
Dude, I can't wait.
Number 1 team in the nation.
Yeah, I mean that's a grain of salt because that's gonna change. That's gonna change so often in college baseball.
I mean, I don't think it will. Nah, A&M has lineup is unreal. Pitching staff's great. I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, we're gonna.
He's just saying it's gonna fluctuate.
Yeah, you're gonna lose some SEC games. That's just you're not losing 5 total SEC games probably in baseball.
What do you mean?
the SEC's so good. Like,
Yeah.
they may not be number one all year long, and that's okay. It's baseball.
I think they have a shot. Honestly,
I'd like that'd be a nice little. Who's the last team to go stay number one all season in baseball? Because I feel like that maybe it's probably happened, but it's been a long time.
It'd probably be a hard stat to look up.
It'd be a little tough. It'd be a little tough.
We'll call our experts in the background.
Yeah.
The ones that are producing our show, we'll get them to look that up.
they're baking in the kitchen right now.
Have to get our stats guy on that.
They're popping popcorn right now.
Yeah, baking cookies. So
No, Lucas, I can't get too high on it. If I get
No,
too
for
high on
sure.
things, then
No, they have
whenever Aggies, then
yeah,
it's not so much of a letdown.
I mean, right now, like from everything that I've kind of researched and everything, it's A&M is like clearing away the number one team. LSU's clearing away the number two team, but there's a pretty decent gap. And then after LSU, it's another drop off.
As long as Texas sucks, that'll be the best.
I mean, they're top
Dude,
10.
That first series in College Station is going to be electric.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody.
Schloss is not ready for that,
Well, dude,
man.
that's
I'm
what I was
tuning
telling.
into that.
I was telling somebody it was like whenever Frank Beard went to Texas for basketball and they went to Lubbock. Like it's going to
Chris
be like,
Beard.
Chris Beard, yeah. It's going to be the same kind of like atmosphere where it's just like
Better not be a single
hostile.
pitcher walk a guy on 4 balls, because we'll be able to hear them chanting ball 5 from Victoria.
for sure. It's going to be fun, dude. It's getting closer.
That's right.
End of February, right? That's when it starts.
February 14th on Valentine's Day.
There we
3
go.
weeks away.
Yep.
3 weeks
LSU
away.
opens up with Purdue Fort Wayne.
Oh man.
3-game set.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh man.
Stacking them dubs early.
God.
Eat 'em up, cats.
I mean, they have a shot to have a good season too, for sure. They're
I hope so.
probably front runner for the.
I'm waiting
the
for
Sun Belt.
I'm waiting for the projections. I don't. I think they'll be mid level. Sun
Nah.
Belt's stacked, dude.
I mean, the Sun Belt is stacked, but
I hope so. They were predicted 5th last year. I think that's about where they ended up. So
did they end up at 5th?
yeah, maybe lower. They didn't have a great year last year.
Yeah, the year before was a good year. We should have beat Stanford, made it to a super regional.
Yeah, should have been in the College World Series.
I mean, honestly, could have. Stanford made the College World
We were
Series.
playing. We were going to play 11 seed Maryland.
I know.
So what could have been
Tough.
next year? This year's our year.
That's right,
Hey.
dude. Schottenheimer.
Can always be your year, man.
Oh man, Cowboy and Aggie fans aren't that dissimilar, dude.
No.
They are very similar.
No.
They are very similar.
One's won something, though.
Well, yeah, the Cowboys have a Super Bowl in this.
Texas A&M has a conference championship more recently than the Dallas Cowboys.
In what?
Football.
In conference?
Yes.
Nah.
Oh, 1999.
Oh, I thought you
1999.
By
It's
4 years.
It is more recent than the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, but in the conference, doesn't that equate to a division title in the NFL?
No. The word is conference. The word is conference. That's the same thing, man.
Now you're just splitting hairs.
When did Dallas played for one? How recent?
What?
95, right? Was
You
the
talking
last
about division or conference?
Conference championship. Have they made the NFC
The
championship?
last time they won the Super Bowl is the last time they won a conference championship.
No, made it to the
Yes,
conference
the
championship.
last time.
one and the same?
1995.
Damn.
Yeah. So yeah.
They didn't even made the NFC championship.
No, that's why it's
That's why it's-
disaster.
Damn, I thought they at least made
Yeah.
it.
See.
No,
If only Dez caught it.
thanks, man.
Sorry.
As if he wasn't having a bad enough week. Just had to bring that one back.
The ghost of Marty Schottenheimer is going to lead us to paradise, dude.
That's right, dude.
I don't know. He may still be alive. I don't know.
No, I forgot too. We didn't even talk about this. Yeah, so we're gonna, talking about bringing in Matt Eberflus.
Dude, please tell me that's a rumor, dude.
That is, he's the leading candidate to be the defensive coordinator.
Oh god. See, okay, why not let Mike Zimmer just be the head coach, dude? Like,
Zimmer might be done coaching. He just got engaged to his 49-year-old girlfriend.
oh, that's true. I remember you said that.
Yeah, dude. Zimmer's also got a zinger, so he's out there just having fun now.
Yeah, Zimmer zingers. He's gonna go visit Belichick and
They're gonna go on double
Carolina.
dates.
God.
It's Zimmer's fiance now, but they'll probably put him in the same nursing home so they can go visit him together.
Golly, dude. Pete Carroll fly over every now and then. Geriatric squad, dude. Oh my gosh, Matt Eberflus.
Yeah. He was the front runner. The last rumor I read.
Why not?
Could just be a
dude?
rumor.
Why not? Why not?
Is Schottenheimer going to call plays?
Why not? I mean, probably. I mean,
I love it.
They're probably going to bring back John Kitna as their offensive coordinator or something. Dude, I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like, dude, like, I'm telling you, it's the recipe for tanking, dude. Like, we're gonna be bad next year, and we're gonna get a good draft pick. I don't know who we're gonna draft yet, but it's coming. So
It'll be fun.
will it?
Yeah.
It'll be great for anybody who's not a Cowboy fan. I'm gonna love every minute of it.
Yep.
Hey, at least you know what to expect. It's not like other years where it's like, maybe this year will be decent. It's just like we know.
Yeah.
Like this year, I knew it was happening. Actually, they did better this year than I thought they were gonna do. I was hoping for like 4 wins and a top 5 pick. But who are you gonna draft? We were definitely getting shit dirty then, dude.
Yeah.
I'm also seeing a lot of mock drafts with Chicago taking Ginty at 10. That'd be hilarious if y'all can't get him at 12 or 13.
I don't know if I want Ginty though, dude. Like, I mean, like he'll be great, but for how long?
Who are you gonna run it back with? Deuce Vaughn?
No, dude, we got Rico Dowdle for the next couple of years.
He's a free agent.
No, you're a free agent. Brian Schottenheimer's going to run the ball.
Jerry Jones is going to suit up at running back.
The one solace I will take out of all this is that Zeke went to go play for a contender, and he went and signed with the Chargers. So Zeke can suck it, too, because we went to the Chargers and then got destroyed by the Texans. So
Could have Derrick Henry.
Thanks, man. Anything else you want to bring up? Hey, remember when Romo dropped that field goal against the Seahawks where they would have won that one too?
I remember that.
Yeah. That's when I was like, man, those Parcells years, dude.
Good times.
It's terrible. Anyway, let's end this.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. We appreciate it. Continue to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your family. We'll continue to try to put good content out, and hopefully we'll have video out soon. Other than that, we'll see you next week.
See ya.